Well, hello there, Sagittarius. It is so good to see you again. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. Today, we are going to be doing your November General Tarot reading. So, this is good for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. We'll take a look at your overall energies with the Oracle cards, and then move to the Tarot for more details. And if you're enjoying the content that I create or resonating with the message, I'd really appreciate it if you would consider commenting, or subscribing. I really do appreciate all of your support. Okay, let's get into it. Let's see what we have here. Antelope Spirit, life is speeding up. Love that energy. And breathe. Okay, what I heard was, take a deep breath because things are going to be speeding up for you. If you feel a little bit stuck, or just like things are going slow, not that they're going bad, but just a little bit slower than you're thinking. It's almost as if Spirit is saying, yeah, well, catch your breath because things are going to start happening very fast for you. What a lovely message that's there. So let's take a look. We're going to move to the Tarot. We're going to take a look at your present energy, any areas of resistance or obstacles, and then the advice from Spirit about how you can move through those obstacles, maybe even a little bit more quickly. So interesting that we have travel and discovery and family and transformation on the bottom. So the transformation card, this represents the death card in Tarot. So the death card represents Scorpio. So I feel like we're in Scorpio season. We have the new moon in Scorpio on the 25th today. So there's this energy of some big transformation coming in. I feel perhaps in either your family sector, or sometimes this can be like your soul tribe sector, people that you're really connected to, but almost maybe going and traveling to, learn more about your family history, visiting family, kind of coming into a sense of trying to discover, perhaps, your family history, kind of like almost this sense of trying to define your kind of like discovering yourself, why you are perhaps the way you are, or looking more into ancestral, karma or patterns of belief, or, breaking ancestral patterns of some sort. Just trying to discover this. A really interesting energy here of maybe the Ashaka records, getting a look into that, because there's a sense here that you're trying to figure out something about yourself, trying to perhaps break a pattern that you have and trying to figure out how you got this pattern of behavior or thinking, looking back into your family history to try to see if you can break that pattern. There's some sense of trying, wow. And then look, you end, and we'll get to this in a minute, but this is part of your death. Death is about part of your advice. The messages, this is so funny. The messages are coming so fast. I feel like I need to take a breath. Yes, there's some big transformation. And once again, I feel like this is kind of like in your family sector, or once again, like your soul tribe, something like that. This is bringing you so much more balance, happiness, joy. Perhaps needing to see a different perspective of the situation, that it was extremely emotional for perhaps a very long time. So you could be out of touch with a family member or something like that. You've gone your own way, because of some kind of a conflict or something. Very emotional. For a lot of you, this could be your parents or grandparents, kind of like, I have to go burn my own path. I have to get away from some type of perhaps family energy in order to discover who you are. But now it's almost like, okay, I want to go full circle. There's this energy of, I want to go back and take almost the information you've learned about yourself and connect the dots back to your family, to maybe the reason that you left. Okay, so let's go in the direction of what you have right now. So you have conflict, but you have the Star card. there's some conflict that you have perhaps in your family sector that you're trying to heal. This is something that will help you on a level that is really deep. So you don't necessarily have to reunite with this person or a group of people. You still may not see eye to eye, but there is this energy of getting a different perspective, of understanding perhaps why they believed the way they did, why they believe the way they do or they did. And, how having you go on this other path has helped to bring healing to this family situation. They may now be able to see your perspective of why you left. I'm not saying that you're necessarily changing their mind, okay, about this. So let's say that you grew up in a very strict religious family, okay? And at some point you may have left that religion in order to advance your study of spirituality. You've kind of gone your own path. It does not mean that you are going to be able to have your family members leave the religion that they are kind of, worshiping or whatever to come over to your viewpoints, okay? But I feel like there's almost an energy where you now understand why they believe the way they do, okay? And you understand why you believe the way you do, but there's this sense of a loving compassion. There's almost like a compassion part to it. Whereas before you could have been, I don't want to say necessarily critical of the way that they viewed religion or something like that. The way they viewed religion is maybe one of the reasons you left, okay? But now you're coming back with a much bigger scope of how this has helped you to do your own healing. So in other words, you may have left because of this difference in religious views, but by leaving, not only did you learn more about spirituality, you learned more about yourself. You learned about your creative abilities. You have stepped into your spiritual gifts and talents. You're wanting to share them with the world. So it's kind of like opened this whole new world to you. And now you can look back and it's almost like you're grateful for the conflict that you had with your family over religion. Even though it was painful, you're understanding that that big difference is what put you on this path. So now you kind of have a more loving perception, I guess I would say, of this conflict. So because you're seeing this as more of an energy of, wow, I'm grateful for it. It put me on this whole new path. And you appreciate the difference. Now life is speeding up. It's almost as if you had to be slowed down in order to gain the wisdom, the insight of how this has really changed your life in so many ways. It's the same thing. You could have had perhaps a divorce, okay? It doesn't have to be your blood family, but maybe you went through a difficult divorce, right, with the conflict. Now you're seeing this divorce. At one time, it was extremely painful, right? You may not have had anything nice to say about, your ex-partner or something like that. Now you're kind of understanding, oh my goodness, that whole, painful experience has put me into this whole new world that is so much more healing, so much brighter, just an energy of, wow, that was the best thing that ever happened to me, even though it was a painful experience, So let's see what we have here. Yeah, I think you're seeing the epiphany of this. We have the Tower moment, not surprised. This could be even happening today, Sag, because the new moon in Scorpio is all about surprises. And I put those videos up last week, those readings of October surprise. With the new moon in Scorpio, and you definitely have the Scorpio energy here, there is some kind of surprise that comes in. And I feel like, you could be just kind of like at the beginning of this. For some of you just kind of recognizing that this conflict, that somebody, Five of Wands, kind of gossip, conflict, competition about, somebody betraying or something like that. There's some energy here that comes in to help you to see this event, okay, very much more clearly. It's an epiphany. So either you're just finding out about it, okay, or you've gone through this tower moment in some fashion a while ago. I think for most of you, this happened a while ago, and now you're healing from it. You're understanding, wow, okay, that was terrible, but wow, I've been put on this other path, right? Because we have the Chariot card underneath. I think you're moving forward very quickly here. Yeah, you're seeing clearly. You're moving on because you're seeing clearly about how some heartbreak in the past is bringing you into this energy of being able to move quickly into a world that is so much different than what you had before. It's almost as if you're discovering for the very first time, like a whole new, I'm actually going to say the word land because that's what I'm hearing, but it's almost like you're walking into this new land where you're understanding that, what has occurred in the past has brought you to a wonderland. That's what they're saying. That's the feeling I'm getting. It's almost like a wonderland. So what is your obstacle? Having the courage to really step into the power of this energy of making this final transformation. A lot of times when people betray us, and I do feel like there is a sense that somebody may have betrayed you, or you may have stood up for yourself, at one point, and then somebody, stabbed you in the back. There's this energy of having to step away from the painful energy, okay, that you associate with this person into something that is more loving, compassionate, understanding that even though that was a painful situation, there's now the sense of seeing it from a different perspective, maybe even being able to look at that person's viewpoint, walking in their shoes, understanding perhaps what pushed them to the brink of betraying you, okay, or stabbing you in the back, or saying you're out of my life, or whatever it was, because I think what you're understanding is that whenever anybody does hurtful things, and I feel like somebody that hurt you did something that was hurtful to you, right? But they're doing that because there was some hurt within them. And it may not have had anything to do with you, but you were stepping into this energy of shining your bright light. And at that moment, it almost triggered them. It was like, yes, Sagittarius is the bright light, is, the star, and feeling, very intimidated perhaps by what you had to offer to the world. Or this is a soul contract where they realized that this was what was going to propel you into stepping into your own power, into stepping into your own independence, your own independent thinking. Maybe perhaps for the very first time, really putting yourself into a position where you had to provide for yourself completely on your own, right? Especially if you were leaving the safety of family and going out on your own in some way. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, and then we have the star again, being able to put time and energy into healing this connection, or healing your own heart space about this connection. It's no longer looking at this connection with, disdain. That's the word. Disdain for this person and maybe what they caused you. It's now you're past that. You've done a lot of the healing, and now you're stepping into this energy of, yeah, I'm really happy that happened, because I think for a while you may have, after this tower moment, gone into this energy of charging ahead, which we all do sometimes, right? We charge ahead, almost a sense of, I'm going to show them, how wrong they are, or something like that, right? Because you were in a, in a painful situation. So it was almost kind of like, okay, I'm charging forward. Now you're looking at this situation with more love, understanding that this person has a lot of emotions, maybe that they're bottling up, that they're not sharing. And so stepping into this energy of being in your own power, having the courage to understand and to look at this whole situation from a different perspective. That's all I can say. Instead of looking at it from kind of like an angry kind of energy, you're looking at it in a more loving and compassionate energy. Because here is your advice, really stepping into the energy of being willing, okay, to change from being perhaps angry about the situation into being grateful for the situation. This brings you such a big transformation, but also an achievement, understanding that you've just stepped into a whole new world of looking at everything that occurs to you in more of a sense of gratitude, right? Instead of perhaps you had gone through, kind of like a period where you looked at everything as something that was being done to you. Now you're looking at it as it's being done for you. Beautiful energy here, beautiful energy of healing. I think your vibration is just raised to a much higher level because of this. Because you're looking at the world in such a much more open, loving, positive nature. And I'm not saying that you don't do that already, Sag, but I think that it's this relationship or this situation in particular that by changing the vibration within yourself about how you look at this situation, you suddenly understand that if I can change my viewpoint about this situation, I can look at anything in a much more positive light. Yeah, really beautiful. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I think that this actually comes into your work of helping other people to heal, balancing out the karma that you have, perhaps ancestral karma too, because I'm going back to your ancestors here. The justice, the balance in the situation, putting down the swords, understanding, when I'm in this type of energy, I don't really get very far. I don't feel good about myself after I do that. If I'm out trying to prove something to the world in this kind of Five of Swords energy, right? I'm going to go after them, right? I'm going to show them. I'm going to show the world. I'm going to prove myself or whatever, right? And totally understand that type of energy. And then instead going out into the world, sharing your love and your light, it brings in this true balance into your life. And it's almost as if you step into the rest of your life in a totally new vibration. Yeah. Oh my gosh. The Empress, the Queen of, it's more nurturing too. Let's think about that. We kind of start off with this very masculine energy. You kind of end with a divine feminine energy of being more nurturing. And when we step into that more nurturing energy for ourselves and the people that are around us, even the people that have hurt us in the past, my goodness, the love just kind of, it's like the world just is, showering this love upon you. Yeah. Look at this. You had the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups, balancing this out, stepping into your power with the Temperance energy. Yeah, it's looking, you have three queens here. Oh my gosh, look at this. Yes, you're stepping into your power. Look at, you have the Ace of Wands and the Ten of Cups, stepping into your power, being really inspired now to go after what it is that you want instead of trying to prove yourself to somebody else or trying to prove somebody else wrong, right? Now you're stepping into this energy of, yes, there's a lot of things I want to bring into my life, but I'm doing it because I want to do it. My heart wants to do it. My soul is calling me to do it. It's not because I'm trying to prove something to somebody else. You're seeing clearly that this is the way that will help you to bring in the sun, right? To bring in the sunshine. You have the sun twice, right? The joy, the love, the abundance. It's kind of like a little bit of let bygones be bygones, right? And it's even more so. You may be in, oh, whatever. You know, that energy of, let bygones be bygones. Now you're stepping into an energy of being truly grateful for whatever has happened in the past. A really lovely energy. I'm just, you know, it's a complete opening of your heart chakra. That's what I would call it, you know, because when we get into that place, it's like nothing can stop us. And I feel like that's why you have the antelope spirit, you know, that life is speeding up. It speeds up because you've opened up your heart to love, to joy, to abundance, to happiness. Yeah, really lovely energy. Okay, so let's see what we have here. When was the last time I couldn't stop laughing or smiling? Oh my goodness, I love that. Go back to a moment when you laughed so hard you almost peed in your pants, or maybe you did. Feel the laughter grow in your body, your cheeks hurting and eyes watering. Maybe there was even a snort or two. Laughter is healing. It reminds us to take life less seriously and find the joy in the littlest things. Note to self: laugh more often. And I love that message. I feel like, you know, you have been maybe a little bit in this energy of being super serious, of, you know, having a to-do list and really kind of like, you know, everything on the to-do list may not have been really based on what your heart truly desires, but more out of, I want to prove something to the world or to a group of people or to your family or to an ex or something like that. Now it's kind of like, oh, I'm putting that down. It's not a waste of time. I'm not going to say that. I think you made a lot of progress having this motivation. You know, sometimes it is good to have this motivation of, I don't want to say revenge. It's really not revenge, but it's a little bit revengeful, right? And now it's kind of like, no, you know what? I'm going to do things that are based on what my heart wants to do. I'm stepping into that true discovery that life is really about what my heart is seeking and not about trying to prove myself to other people. Because even when we're trying to prove something to somebody else, then we're not doing it for us. We're doing it really for the other person, whether, you know, we really want to admit that or not. Well, this was such a beautiful reading. Sag, I do personal readings. If you're interested, the link is in the description box below. But another thing is that I would really like to do is, instead of pulling a creativity oracle card to finish out this reading, instead, I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a giveaway, I guess. If you comment to this video and put anything in the comment, I will reply to your comment by pulling a card, especially for you, and letting you know what the card says in your comment. So I think that'll help to clean, you know, kind of sum this up in a more personal way for you, Sag, depending on what your situation is. And once again, you don't really have to say much in the comment. You just comment and then I will reply with your card. And I really look forward to seeing you again soon. I really appreciate all of your support through liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I hope to see you again really soon. Bye for now.